good morning, afternoon, evening, whichever time of day it might be for you when you come across, listen, stumble across this specific video. As previously stated, and I will again, I do not own the rights to any of the sounds that you may hear or even the picture that you see right now. This is Dragon's Insanity Chat. I'd appreciate it if you can hit that subscribe button, like, leave a comment too if you feel like it. Let me know what subject you may want to hear about, discussed, or anything like that. If you'd like to be a part of it, also, definitely let me know, and I will gladly toss you an invite to Discord, as long as you pop in your name, so your Discord name, so I'll know, and we can set up a time so you can join as well, and have fun discussing things. Well, now that we got that out of the way, let's let's begin the insanity, shall we? So, yesterday, I touched a little bit on religion and things along those lines. Now, what what about religion? What about it and everything? It doesn't make sense to me personally. Now, here's what I mean. You have numerous cultures and civilizations and everything else like that under the sun never had contact with one another, never talked to one another, never was even the same era of existence. And yet, they, again, and this was mentioned the other day too, they all have gods, multiple gods, different names, same job, same function. Now, how is that possible? Like how? What what makes it to where these cultures so vastly different and the distance between them too so vastly wide, worlds apart, and yet they all seem to have the same thing in common. Multiple deities covering multiple different aspects of life, different names, but all the same job. Doesn't that seem a little strange to you? I mean, it does to me. Like, wait, hold on. None of these cultures were around each other. None of these cultures dealt with each other. Nothing like that, and yet they all have pretty similar things. How did how did that even happen? How did that even come to be? That's why I have a problem when people say, "Oh, there's only one true God." Really? Says who? Really? Why? Explain all these cultures and civilizations that had a pantheon. They had no way to communicate with each other. They never did, as far as we could tell. Yet they all seem to have the same aspect, the same multiple deity form. Does that seem a little odd? Doesn't that seem a little weird, even? And yet, most people will be like, oh, well, da da da. It's like, no. You're going to give some generic reason, some generic answer, but you're not going to give an actual answer. So what the hell is going on with that one? Another thing that I touched on too the other day is we have the pyramids that were built. Right? Okay, fine. How? We sure as hell did not have the technology, or humans did not have the technology back when the pyramids were built to freely lift those up and everything. We had archaic forms, and yet we still did it without a problem, apparently. Well, I mean, obviously there probably was problems, but you get what I mean by that. So what the fuck there? And fine, fine, fine. Technology was maybe not the greatest back then, but they had something to help. Okay, fine, fine. I'll go with that one. Not completely believe in that shit, but I'll go with it. Okay, but what if we go further back? Right? What if we go way further back to the Incans, Mayans, Aztec? They sure as shit did not have the tech that the Egyptians would have. Ain't no way. That's what we say. That's what everybody says. They were way, way down on the law. The Egyptians and their tech was light years ahead comparatively, and yet we find pyramids, temples, whatever you want to call it, for them as well. How the hell did they get built? Hmm. What built them? You're gonna say the people did. Okay. Okay. How? How did they do it? You have stones that weigh up to and probably over a couple thousand pounds at least. And you're gonna tell me group of people, group of people fucking just huffed that shit up and did it? Okay, maybe go ground ground floor. Sure. What about the second floor? Third floor? However high up they built these things, right? I can tell you now, and anybody with a brain, when you're carrying something up an incline of any sort, doesn't matter how steep the incline, it sucks. It gets heavier by a lot because the weight shifts, everything else like that. Normally, the ascent of whatever you're carrying is taking all the brunt of that weight, right? Because that's how gravity works. And you're going to tell me that people just huffed it up there? Just loaded that bitch up on their back type deal and made their merry way up that hill or whatever the hell they climbed up to do it? And that doesn't strike you as a odd? Alright. You know, I do. I find it odd. I don't see how that's even capable of being done. Even being pulled and everything else like that. you know, how many people did it take to pull? Because that wasn't a stable landscape either. Okay, say you pulled up the next stone, up to the next floor and everything, right? Like, okay, how'd you get it on to the next one? How'd you get it to remain level and stable there without it crashing down on you? Huh? And then, of course, the next piece, and the next, and the next. Each time you go up, It becomes harder, heavier, and more detrimental to you. And yet they built tall, tall temples. So we got, let's see, for Mayans, apparently 98 feet. Okay? Think about how tall that really is. Think about how large that really is. Okay? So, damn, 98 feet. The Aztecs have a 400 by 400 meter uh, temple that they did. It is 4.45 million cubic meters, almost twice that of the Great Pyramid of Giza. You know, if you don't know how big the Tower of Giza, the Temple of Giza, whatever, Pyramid of Giza is, you know, look up the image, and fucking tell me how a culture so far behind in tech and ingenuity, supposedly everything else like that, that they fucking built that. I don't know about you, but that just seems a tad bit extreme, crazy, unusual. And there's just too much that that at least to me points in a way where they had help. They had help in some way to to have built these. You know, and again, we're not gonna know. We really have no clue. Not only that, but they wrote. I believe they wrote with hieroglyphs too. You know, yeah, they might as well have had something similar to what the Egyptians did. Okay, awesome. Before before them, you know, before the Egyptians. The Inca had they used string apparently, or rope, or whatever. So again, that was their form of communication, written at least. So if that's true, what about all that, those vines and everything else like that hanging off of the temples and such? What if those vines, because they're not all the same length, there's some that are, but a lot that are all varying in length and such. What if that is a right? That is their writing though on the outside of the temple, and we just don't know how to decipher it. What if it was them explaining something like what the temple or pyramid or whatever was for, but because we don't know, we can't decipher it. We ignored a warning, you know, whatever the case may be. So, what what caused all of it? You know, our we had the super landmass as well, Pangea, I think it's called, something like that, to connect the landmasses. Apparently, at some point in history, okay. And you mean to tell me nobody ever ran into these fucking things during that time? Nobody ever found them. Nobody who with a more modern writing language, whatever you want to call it, documented them. It just all got lost in the shuffle somehow. You gonna tell me that's what you're really believing? That seems a little sketchy to me. To me, it seems more like they were hiding it, keeping it hidden. And they were keeping it hidden as long as they could until we got advanced enough tech wise that they couldn't keep us away anymore. And so, due to that, we have now started discovering them. Started going, huh, hey, look at what we found here. And we're just like accepting this 100%. We're going, hey, yeah, this is a good idea. Long buried civilization. We're gonna we're gonna unbury them. We're gonna we're gonna let all this go. And we don't know what we're gonna discover. We don't even know what we're gonna find. We can guess, we guess. We have a idea, but let's be honest, we don't know shit. Talking about history too, even. Let's go with something even worse. I think it's been in the last 20 years or so, right? We discovered like preserved remains of fucking a mammoth or something, and anybody that's ever watched a horror film or anything, there's shit out there for this one, right? So I agree with this stupid shit. It might have a disease, a parasite, or some unknown thing dormant inside of it. It could be fucking dead and still dormant, right? And we're gonna thaw this son of a bitch thing out. That pathogen, creature, whatever, is gonna be like, oh, I'm awake now. It's gonna be fucking hungry. And if it's a pathogen of some sort, we're fucked. We are 100% fucked because No way we have an immune system or any kind of tolerance to stop that. Because we don't. We would not have that. And we think it's a good fucking idea. We think it's an amazing idea to go, hey, you know what we should do? Let's go and look at all this shit. And just let it out. We're gonna go check it out. We're gonna go do this. Okay, fine, whatever. You're idiots, but there's nothing that can be done about it at this point. But again, you don't think something's gonna happen? Something will. Anything fucking happens. And we're not gonna be able to even fucking do anything about it. Other than go, oh, well, guess maybe you shouldn't have done that. And people are gonna get blamed. Shit's gonna happen. Everything's gonna fall apart. And it very well may be where, guess what? That bullshit that was locked up and everything, uh, is now out, and it's gonna fuck us. 100% fuck us. And there's conspiracy theorists and everything else like that saying COVID was man-made. COVID's a government thing, something like that. And it's entirely possible it is. I mean, look at what the government does. Not just American government, all governments. They all do some fucking shady shit. Period. So it's possible that that's what COVID is. It's it's 100% possible that's what COVID is. And look at how quickly the vaccine came out. Again, it's us, but not out of the realm of possibility. And also, hey, if this really is a thing where we pulled our heads out of our asses to come up with the vaccine quickly and everything. Think about what the hell the world would be like if we kept our heads out of our ass and focused on the medical field. Hmm? Like, think about that. But no, we'd rather focus on killing each other off, destroying the world, killing each other off, and going, no, this is mine, fuck you, da da da. Instead of going, maybe we need to preserve life, however we can, wherever we can, whenever we can. We'd rather destroy than preserve. We claim we want to preserve, but only when it's beneficial to us. I mean, how fucked is that? I mean, honestly. I pity the world. I pity the people in it. I feel bad for them. I'm glad by the time probably everything really, really goes to shit and the world goes into the fuck all state and complete and utter trash, I will probably be long dead. That is my saving grace. That is my silver lining. That is my woohoo moment. Is by the time everything truly goes to shit, I will be long dead. Maybe from hell or wherever you go when you die, I'll be able to watch it and laugh as I go, I fucking called it. You fucking idiots did it. Y'all didn't want to goddamn do anything other than just fuck each other. And this is what happens because of it. We're going with slightly shorter things, anyways, today. You know, there is more things going on. I will gladly breach more subjects to touch back on other subjects. Refresh you too on other subjects that have been brought up too. If we have a special guest pop in too, there is a good chance other subjects will again be brought back up because fresh new perspective. If you have enjoyed this though, if you agree with any part of it, make sure to hit that like, subscribe as well, and leave a comment and tell me what part you agree with, what part you don't agree with. I want to know. I want to know what part of the insanity you agree with. And don't forget, folks, as I always say, let the insanity take hold.